Hey everyone, it is your girl, the TT, today on a most fabulous day. The sun is shining and the snow is melting, okay? So everybody can get out and enjoy the weather. Today, we have, y'all, the most outstanding young lady on my podcast and my YouTube channels, y'all. Wilson Pickett's daughter. Yes. So I'm going to let her go ahead and introduce herself, and we're going to have a special treat for you here in a minute. Go ahead. How are you?
I'm fine. I am Veda Neal. I'm the daughter of the wicked Wilson Pickett, and I am excited to just talk to you today. And I'm excited that I was invited on. So I'm looking forward to really telling you a good story about my dad. And I'm just blessed to be on, and I'm thankful to be on.
That is amazing. We're happy to have you on. And today we're going to play by her famous father, Wilson Pickett, "Don't Let the Green Grass Fool You." And that is true, because the grass on the other side is not always green and tasty. So here we go. Have a little taste. Girl, try to remember when we didn't have no shoes. We stuck together, just me and you. Took a long time to get what we got today. Now you want to give it all up for another guy. Baby, I'm telling you, don't let she not fool ya. Don't let she change your mind. It's gonna be hard for me, baby. Feel my life all over. All right, y'all heard it on here on the Teacher podcast. Wilson Pickett, "Don't let the green grass fool you, because it will." He's telling y'all now, he might be at 80. Don't let that 30% fool you now, because it might not always be better over on that side. So I am so happy to talk to you, our special guest today. When I saw that you accepted my friend request, I was like, ah! I was so excited. I was like, yes, yes, yes. We get to hear the fabulous news, not only about your life and how it was, being the famous daughter of Wilson Pickett. So kind of give us a little background about you and your family.
Well, one thing is that I always tell people about my dad first, because my dad was definitely my hero. I mean, he inspired me to do the things that I'm doing. And even though I'm the only one out of 4 siblings that sing, so,
wow,
I took my singing after my dad, because he was just, he could sing anything. It doesn't matter. He would make somebody else song his song and make it a hit.
Yes.
And my dad, was just a wonderful, down-to-earth type person. He loved his fans like they were family. So if you were ever around him, he would have made you feel like you've been knowing him for years. That's how he was. And beautiful. He comes from small beginnings. When he was younger, he started in Alabama in the church, because he used to sing gospel.
Yes.
And he started in Jericho Baptist Church, and he used to be on the plantation. He said he would never pick cotton. He said he wanted to sing. And when he left Alabama, because he moved from there to Detroit at the age of 15 to stay with his father. And people always think that my father got discovered in Alabama, but he didn't. He got discovered in Detroit, Michigan, because I was born and raised in Detroit. And that's how he really actually got started. He started off in the church with the Volunteers, and then he got discovered from Mr. Smith, Willie Smith. He got discovered singing with the Falcons, and that's how he got started in Detroit.
Oh, wow. A lot of the singers, the groups, back in those times did originate from the church, singing in little small Baptist or Methodist, Holy Ghost, church choirs. And that's where it all had came from. It's a blessing that God gave him that voice. And like you said, he can write a song for somebody else and he could make it a #1 hit. He had that voice that will fit any song. And that's a wonderful
That's right. And one thing about my dad, all he wanted to do was sing. He never imagined being as big as he was. He didn't really discover that people really liked him until he did that movie Soul to Soul.
Yes.
That's what he really said. They really like me. He didn't really think about being famous as big as he is. He never, imagined. So, his mind was always, I just want to sing. That's all it was.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He wasn't thinking about making big major hits or anything like that. He just wanted to sing.
Oh, and I get tickled. You said your father said he was not picking no cotton.
No, he didn't. That wasn't his way of living. He said, no, that's not what he wanted to do.
No, yes.
And when he came to Detroit and got discovered by Willie, he was on his dad's porch on the east side of Detroit. And he happened to walk past and heard my dad sing. And so my grandmother, which is his stepmom, he ran into the house and he said that this guy wanted him to sing with his group. And so my grandmother said, well, if the Lord leads you, you go ahead and do it if that's what you want to do, but you always put God first in your life.
That's right.
And that's how he really got started, was my grandmother Helen, really encouraged him to do what he did. And that's how he got, started.
You speaking on to my dad, Soul to Soul, it was a huge deal back then, to have people of color to even be out there to sing and to show their talent, not just for picking cotton or for shucking corn or babysitting, washing somebody's clothes, ironing them. They had true talents back in those days. Not saying they don't have it now, but to me, those songs back then had a message and a meaning to them. And if you listen to the song, the words they were singing, you can grasp it. It was love. It was romantic. It was about, don't leave me. I done done this to you, but I'm asking you for forgiveness. It
was amazing. That whole movie, with Ike and Tina Turner, and my favorite was the Staple Singers. I love the Staple Singers.
Yes.
And just to have Santana, all of them in that, they were naturals. Everything was natural, even from the bands. Everything now is electronic, this and that, and they just had a natural ability to sing.
They do.
It was in them.
They did. They didn't have no lip syncing, no synchronizing. It was all from the heart, from that soul, And when I watched the movie, I did see your favorite, the Staple Sisters, and I saw the Ike and Tina Turner review and your dad and Santana. And I used to be a Santana fan, and I still am. I used to be when I was in high school, but they did have raw talent, and they let it shine. Even though they was tired, they was sweaty, their voice probably hurt it. They was hoarse, but they still came out there and gave their fans the show that they wanted them to hear.
Yes, and it was just, like you said, everything was just a natural thing to them. And they gave their heart, like you said, they gave their heart. My dad would give like 200% to his fan. When he was on stage, he loved his fans.
Yes, he did.
They were family, and he never didn't stop and talk to them. Like I said, he would sit down and have a cup of coffee with you. He would have a meal with you and just talk about anything, just like normal. And so when people ask me, well, how does it feel to be the daughter of Wilson Pickett? He was just dad.
That's right. Never changed.
He was real, even though, I never get spankings or anything like that, but I got yelled at just like every other kid. But, he was just dad to me. I still don't realize how famous he was. When people come to me and say, oh, I love your dad, this and that, I'm looking like, okay. you know, because it never really hit me how big he was. I mean, I can go all over the country and everybody knows Wicked Wilson Pickett.
Yes, yes.
You know,
Most definitely. Most definitely. And that's when, I look and I listen on this podcast, I like to do music reviews and book reviews and just do interviews, but I also, want to give a message even to the younger people and even to our elders that are still here, that are still paving the way, that might be retired, that know that they're not out in the open no more, that, to the older people, that we are still here, we still love you. Even if that you're not here on earth no more, and to the children and to the grandchildren, that we still love y'all's parents. Hey, that music will always ride. My kids always say, "Oh, Mom, you're so young, but you have an old soul. You like old music." Well, that's what I was raised around with, and to me, that's the music that I like. I like listening to that music, and I like listening to Al Green and Wilson Pickett and the Ike the Tina Turner Review and the Staple Sisters and many more out there. I do, but I do, and I tell the young people, it's more than just clothes. It's more than just the money. It's more than just the fame. Y'all gotta have the ability to have that voice, that ear, that natural ability. And y'all can't just sing, because y'all want to, y'all need to pay y'all bills. Sing because you're trying to reach somebody. Sing because when you close your eyes, you're singing your life story.
Yes. Yes. And, one thing I will always tell them, is that the singers back then, like, Little Richard, Aretha Franklin, my dad, Ike and Tina Turner, they don't realize what they had to go through during those times of the civil rights movement and different things like that. They couldn't go to certain restaurants and different things like that. But they made a way for the upcoming artists to be where they are. They didn't get paid like they get paid now. And a lot of them sample the old artists' music and make billions out of it.
That's right. That's right.
But
without giving them recognition.
What they had to go through. They went through a lot, and they still made a way for the artists to become what they are today. They didn't have privilege to own, business like, Jay-Z and all the rest of them. They didn't have that privilege.
That's right.
They didn't start getting recognized until after they're gone on. That's when they really started getting recognized. A lot of them have not even been inducted in the Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame. But you got these other artists already has been inducted. And I'm like, wow,
quickly.
And I would just like to, say to the young people, that if it wasn't for Ike and Tina Turner, Wilson Pickett, and all these other wonderful, great artists, they wouldn't be in the position that they are in today.
That's right. That's right.
And, I'm just thankful that I had a chance to be around that type of atmosphere growing up, because I got firsthand sitting back, watching it develop, and they would never be able to see something like that.
They won't. No. And it's history. It's history, to us younger people that want to take a grasp on it and take hold to it. And to me, people nowadays, they use a little clip of people's music here and there, but never give the people the music that they use in their profit, their benefit, their I'm using this and this music belongs to da 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 da, or things like that. So that, to me, that's what people need to start doing, is when I'm sampling people's music, hey, give the rights to the person that it belongs to, their children that it belongs to. Don't just use it and then be like, oh.
Well, we most likely getting the benefits now, the siblings are, because, I'm still in communication with Solomon Burt's daughter, James Brown's son, some of the Temptations kids. And, we have we get together every once in a while. Joe Tech's, son, David Ruffin's son is doing something.
Yes.
Bobby Wilson, Jackie Wilson's son is doing something, to, keep the legacy going. So it's just a blessing, that we can get together. A lot of us don't sing anymore. We just kind of, do tributes to our dad, doing interviews and stuff like that. But, it's just a blessing. I thank God, for my dad and what he has done. I'm very proud of him, coming from where he came to, where he wind up being. And, like I said, he didn't have an education. My dad dropped out of school when he was in the 9th grade.
Oh, wow.
And
to pursue a music career like that?
When he was in the 9th grade, he dropped out of school and he didn't have an education. He was not, a lot of people think, he had an education, but he didn't. He could barely read and write.
Oh, wow. They can sing like that.
God took him and, and where he became. He traveled all around the world.
See, that wasn't nothing but God to do that. Oh, wow.
And everything, So, and a lot of the entertainers was like that. They didn't have a lot of education. They just had a natural ability to do what they did. And it was God gifted.
That's right. That's right. And just like, Ike Turner, he couldn't read sheet music, but he had a natural ear for it. There was a lot of people out there that had that ability to do that and went far. And people think, like you said, about your dad by his education. Oh, he had to have a high school diploma. No. He probably, people don't even finish grade school because of the atmosphere that they lived in, back in those days. They couldn't because they had to be in a cotton field or had to work or whatever. But he took nothing and made it into something that was outstanding, and this blew up to where one day he will leave his legacy on this earth for his children, his grandkids, and so forth, and the fans. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of fans out here.
That's right. He became what he became because he was determined. That's right. Like I said, he just wanted to sing. He didn't, everything that, he did. My mom wrote some of his songs on piece of paper because he couldn't do it. Growing
behind
up.
Behind the man, there's always a strong woman.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, amazed me how, my dad can take a guitar and play a guitar. He learned instruments on his own. Nobody never taught him.
And people take music classes and singing classes, and look, he just, that's amazing. That's God-given talent. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Me and my sister, we grew up in a church and we sung, little kids, little sunshine band, and you go into the teenagers choir and the adult choir. And so we sung, our dad had a group and our mom, she sung with a group, not like, professionally, but they could have been and gotten there. But we sing too, but, it's like, our kids, they sing, but my niece, she taught herself how to play the violin. And I'm thinking, are you serious? The violin? Wow. Yeah. It's amazing. Yes. It's amazing.
It is. It just, that's like I said, he always been my hero, just to sit and watch him just put a song together. He can sing about Cheerios. It don't matter. It sounds good. That's how he was. He was my alarm clock getting up in the morning. He would wake up in the morning, he'll start singing. That's when I know it was time to get up. So, we used to sing together, he was like, oh, sing it this way. And I was singing, when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
I started singing. Well, I started singing before then, but I started getting into the choirs when I was 8. and everything. So, but I was always shy. I didn't really started coming out until I was like 17.
Oh, okay.
But, Dad always knew I had that ability to sing.
Yes. Now,
And
do your
everybody,
brothers or your
would
other
say,
siblings
oh,
sing?
you're going to sing like your dad. But, before my dad passed away, he wanted to go back to his spiritual, roots. He wanted to do a gospel album before he left. And
Oh, okay.
I was saying, by me being in the church, I didn't want to sing R&B. I'm like, oh, I'd rather just sing gospel. I'd rather sing for the Lord. That's really where my father really wanted me to go, is to sing gospel, because that's what he wanted to do before he passed away.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He wanted to go back to his roots.
And that's an amazing thing. Like I said, people look down on everybody else, but I always say, don't ever forget where you come from.
Yes.
Because if you forget where you come from, you don't ever know where you're going.
That's right.
You can never
That's
do
right.
that. And that's why I always tell my YouTube channels, and I tell on my podcast, don't never forget that. Don't never forget that, because if you do, and once you do, you have really forgotten about your roots. You've really forgotten about who you are and where you come from. And then also, you really forgot about your ancestors.
Yeah.
Because without their ancestors singing in those cotton fields, and you hearing that, getting that tune in, you will never be able to sing or go where you at now.
That's right. That's right. That's one thing I really truly loved about my dad too, because he was such a real person. He never got to the point where fame went to his head.
No.
He just stayed true to who he was.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes, and that's one thing. If he was mad, he was mad. If he happy, he was happy. He would never be the type of fake person.
That's right. That's right.
Like that. He said what he had to say, and that was it.
That was it. That was all.
Yeah. So, that's one thing that I loved about him. He walked the streets, he went into the store, he talked to everybody, like I say, like you were his friend for 20 years. He never got to that point where he thought he was just untouchable.
Wow.
He was never like that.
No. And you got rappers today and artists today that just think they just so high and mighty, they sit up here and we sit below them. But those old-fashioned singers, to me, that never cared about fame or fortune, they will talk to you regardless who you are. And I've seen a lot of interviews that your dad has done, and let me tell you, he is bubbly, very comical, outgoing. And was just like right there. He loved being in the atmosphere. He loved seeing his fans. He loved just the excitement. And back then they had so much energy and so much, just like, they'll go off stage just sweaty and come back on with a different outfit and ready to go again.
Yeah. And they would just go all day. I mean, like, even I used to always ask my dad, how can you scream like that and never get hoarse?
Naturally.
That's it was just something natural.
Yes, natural. I don't know. He's done a lot, and like I said, he left a wonderful legacy behind, and I am just ecstatic just to even see the picture, and both pictures, the cutout and the picture on your wall behind you of your father, because he's
my dad watching us, huh?
Yes. An amazing man, that his legacy, his music, his memories will forever live on. And like I said, I'm just happy that I got, to talk to his daughter. I'm like, because it's so wonderful. And like Bishop Martin always says, let go and let God have his way.
That's right.
As soon as you do, things start happening, blessings will start coming down.
That's right.
That's real.
If you put God first in your life, everything else will line up. You don't have to worry about anything, because God is in control. And that's the way I look at things. I thank God, for my dad's fans. I don't consider them fans. I consider them family. And, every time they post something, I make sure that I post something back.
Yes, ma'am.
Telling them how much I really appreciate them and how much my father really loved them. And, like I said, he gave 200% when he put on a show for his fans, and that's the way he was. And I want to continue to, always reach out to his fans, because like I said, they post me something every day
Yeah.
about my dad. And, when his birthday is coming up, March the 18th,
Yes.
and he will be, if he was still living, he would have been 81. And they always send me something, saying how much they love my dad. And I tell them, thank you. And I really appreciate what, for them being a fan, because they're a fan of me now. So
that
I
is
thank
true.
God,
That is true. And, I'm also friends with the Ike and Tina Turner's children. I'm also friends with their families. And I run a Temptations page also on Facebook. And so,
Okay.
with their children of the late Temptations, David and Eddie and all the rest of them, and Eddie Kendricks, I just feel like, it's an honor to even be able to give them their flowers. Yes, they're already gone, but you know what? To me, I think they're still looking down and smiling down upon us, and just, with them big old smiles they've had, and just enjoying the respect that they still have left on this earth, even though they're not here. And it's just amazing to think that there are people out there that would just go crazy just to get a chance, just to interview or just to talk to as a friend on I with one of the late people, one of the late members of the group. So I'm ecstatic. I am just ecstatic.
I really miss them all. I really do miss them, and like you said, David Ruffin and all, they would never ever be another David Ruffin, Temptations, my dad. It would never be another one of them. It's just hard to really kind of try to sing their music because nobody can.
No, oh no, that's that natural raw talent. That's that nobody can't replicate. Nobody can try to do it. It's the soul.
Yeah,
It's the soul.
But I thank God for all of them. They showed me a path to go. And like my dad, he never wanted me to sing R&B. He used to always tell me, if people wanted me to sing, and I could have sung, signed contracts, but my dad was like, no, because he knew the ins and outs of the entertainment world, especially now. So it's just, a blessing how they protected us from all these things out here. And, and I just thank God,
Most definitely. And my deal is counting down on us, but I thank you so much for our interview today. And it's been a blessing. Y'all seen this on the Tea Teacher firsthand, talking with Miss Neal. How you say your name?
You can call me Pickett or Neal.
Okay, Pickett or Neal.
I get them both.
Okay. With the late Wilson Pickett's daughter, y'all here, beautiful lady. It's amazing. I don't want to start crying because I get emotional, listeners. I get emotional.
Don't you cry, girl. Don't you cry. You're gonna make me cry.
But it's amazing to just have the history of the late Wilson Pickett. And y'all go check out his YouTube channels. That man put his heart into it. And you heard first from his daughter. He didn't give 10, 50, 60, 100. He gave 200% to his fans, just like he would do on any day, natural day, sitting down, drinking coffee with people. Y'all, it's been my pleasure. And today has been made my day on sitting down, talking with his daughter about her not just the famous part, but just her daddy. Yes. That's all, just her daddy. Yes. And it makes it seem like it's my daddy too. Because y'all, my parents just did that and played him, and all the late greats that's not here no more. We thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, most definitely. And hopefully, we'll have a part 2. Maybe you can tell us something about your songs and what y'all sing, y'all used to sing, things like that. So most definitely, y'all go check it out if you haven't. Shame on you. Shame on y'all not checking him out on YouTube, okay? These interviews he left for us. So I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Thank you.
Oh,